welcome everybody. Welcome to today's video, guys. I am Jack with My Girl Budgeting, and on today, as you can see, I'm going to be going and discussing about a new budget starter kit that I have created. I plan to use this in the new year. I want to use finish what I have right now that I've been working on for this year. But this I have created as a fun way for me to start tracking everything from start to finish, but also to help those who, have not yet taken that leap to start budgeting themselves, or just, are not sure where to begin the journey, right? So if you are new to my channel, I am Jack, and this is basically what I do within my channel. Is I am budgeting myself and working myself to become debt-free and not live paycheck to paycheck by doing fun savings, budgeting myself. And so if you are interested in that, please hit that subscribe button. I am looking for a specific paper, but I'm not sure what I did with it. I guess I will have to improvise, right? Well, that's what we're gonna do. Alright, so guys, like I said, this was something I decided I wanted to do more for myself, because the easier way for me to track everything that I'm doing and not have so many different, I love the planner I am working on. I do enjoy that. But I also noticed, like, I have so many different, kinds of pages in here. And it's awesome because a lot of these are freebies that I've gotten, and it's great. So I decided to come up with a uniform, and this I still would be utilizing a lot of these, but I wanted something just uniformed, and basically like a starter kit that would just help me, stay on track of everything that I do within my budgeting. And then hopefully it'll help you guys want to take that leap, because, I am a rainbow girl. I love it. I always have since I was a little girl, and I love the colors, and it's just like, so anytime I can utilize it and especially incorporate it with the cute little, illustrations that I get, I want to be able to use it any way possible. And I do tend to, use it. As you can see, I love bright colors, vibrant colors. So anytime I can use it, I'm gonna use it, right? So this is what I went ahead and started. It is basically the cover sheet. It is a budget starter kit. This is now available on my Etsy, guys, so if you want to go grab one. And it is a digital download, so I laminated mine, just because I do tend to, I rather prefer using laminated sheets to budget myself, just because I don't like keeping so much paper trail. And if I really need to track it, I'll just print it out. Take a picture of what I tracked, and then I can print it out that way. But yeah, guys, so this is the starter kit. I'm gonna go through it. I'm gonna show you guys, some little things that I have learned myself, and what started me. Because I know for the longest time I would watch YouTubers before I even started, budgeting, and I would just learn from them, learn what to do, the things to do, what not to do, and hopefully this will just, and that's what started it all. And so I looked back in the past year just to try to figure out, like, okay, what was the first initial thing that really pushed me over to start this journey. And after watching so many years of people doing it, and I would print out some of the things that I would find, even through Pinterest, because I didn't really realize that people, did freebies as much as they do. And so I would go through Pinterest and I would find like little budget sheets, but not really knowing what to do with it or how to tackle it or anything like that. And so from there, I just decided, okay, let's see. You know, I watched a couple of YouTubers, and main thing they started with, and I do use check them, you know, on every couple, maybe every 3 months. I try to review the first thing first, and that is your bank statements. I went through and printed out about 2-3 months worth of my bank statements that previous year, or that around that year that I started, which was last year. And I basically went and printed out, you know, all my bank statements, and I went through and highlighted every category, did specific categories, what was my bills, what was me eating out, what was for fuel, what was for medical, what was for subscriptions. All of those I highlighted on the bank statement, and basically I categorized them, and I was seeing where the money was going, where my money was going, where, and that is what helped me to eliminate a lot of things. And I'm telling you guys, a lot, because I did not realize how much money I was spending on specific things that I really just never tracked. It was just like, okay, pull your card out, which I try not to do. I still do it, not as often, and it's very rare that I do use my debit card anymore, because I'd rather have that cash. If I don't have it to spend it, then I'm not going to do it, right? So this is what I did. I went ahead and created a bank statement sheet for you guys and for myself, and this I think will help me categorize every bill that I go in. So I print out my, you know, my bank statement, I see through all the categories, I highlight them, and I of course have bills, my subscriptions, medical, dining out, groceries, and then of course bills, I doubled that because of course bills should be the most that we should have on there. And then we have fuel, miscellaneous, and then 2 blank ones for any other category that you might, you know, use. It's a way to basically list out all your bills, and you can put the amounts of how much you spent on those bills, total them. Same thing for your subscriptions, medical, all of that, and basically you get a running total of everything that you spent in that month, or in however long you want to do it. If you want to do it for a couple months, or if you want to do for just that 1 month, you can categorize just to see, you know, where you're spending. Also, it gives you an idea of your average monthly bills, and you can basically use that as a guide to, okay, always allot that much money for that specific bill. If your electric, you know, electric is one of the things that fluctuates, right? During the summer it's the highest, during the winter it's the lowest. Our gas goes up in the winter and our gas goes down at the summer, right? So that is just a good way to average yourself out, and basically you can, with that average, you can start working your month ahead. So say, you know, summer, we are in summer, I'm paying probably $250 to $300 a month on my electric. Yes, as ugly as I don't like to say it, but and then at that, like, but the low months, I'm typically spending probably $100 a month during the winter time, because I'm not running the AC or anything like that. We're running the heater, so at that time, so if you average the 250 and the 100, you get in the middle of probably, or maybe, well, 300 and 100, and the average of $200 is, to me, is the month. So I will average out that $200 for each month, and that is a way to work yourself up to getting a month ahead. So yeah, okay, right now I'm spending my most on my electric, but during the winter time, okay, let me go ahead and continue to pay what I was paying during the summer, just so I can get myself up to the month ahead, and then eventually hit that milestone of the baby steps of 3 to 6 months. And that is just a way you could start utilizing it for your bills. Subscriptions, you can start reviewing your subscriptions in the sense that you guys, we tend to get subscriptions and we tend to forget the subscriptions we have because we know that we're being drafted, but then sometimes I'm not, like, I know for sure for Peacock, for Paramount, I think those were the two that I would not typically watch through the year, but I was paying monthly on, or I was paying a yearly fee on, and I was not watching those two program streaming subscriptions. So that's where I ended up eliminating both of those. Yes, during the football season, I will typically get those, and I'm looking at other options, especially if I decide to go with an NFL network, because I will say I am a football girl. I love football. It's really crazy because for me growing up, even as a teenager, I despised football because my brothers, my father, they were avid football fans, and I guess just watching it through them, I got into football. And then also with my son doing football in school, of course, that even intensified my obsession with football. So I love football, guys. Now, I don't do stats. I'm not good at that. I know if I have a favorite team, if I have a favorite player, I want to watch them, right? I mean, I can get into football. I know plays, I know stuff like that, but it's just like, so that is an option that I'm looking at right now because of football season. It's preseason right now, so I'm not getting into it. And I do plan on doing a football savings, and I haven't done it because I did a baseball one, and I love my baseball savings. If you guys see it, it is in my Etsy shop still because I love that challenge. It was really fun to do. So I'm trying to come up with an idea for a football savings. But anyways, subscriptions, it helps you eliminate your subscriptions. Medical. So to me, medical is always going to be treated as, it is a necessity. You can't, especially because as we get older, the medical becomes more pertinent in our life. And so for me, medical becomes an emergency necessity to have. And so I would just wanted to see what I was spending on my medical bills as of now, and I typically, have my prescription, and there's just one prescription I have, thank God, right now. But I do also have my doctor's visits, my dental, like my dentist appointments, just yearly exams, whatever. And I just wanted to make sure I know that I'm creating my sinking fund to match what I have in medical bills that I have to worry about. So of course, sinking funds play a factor in all of these categories, guys, because if you have your sinking funds, you build to hit those goals. The month ahead is a sinking fund that you always should have on hand and always have fully funded. And once you hit that, then you know that that money is always going to be there in the event that you can't work or your income goes down in an emergency situation. So, and then we have dining out. This is the kicker here, the dining out part. This is the one that will tell you how much you are spending eating out, as opposed to how much you can be saving by meal planning and eating at home. And I will say this typically takes a big toll in your finances right here, the dining out portion. I was amazed at how much I realized how much I was spending on eating out. At one point it was probably on a daily, maybe not on a daily, but maybe more, probably 4 times out of the week that I was eating out with me and my kids, so I would just that was, and inflation is real. Inflation is out there. What I used to pay $20 for me and my kids to eat, now I'm paying $40. And so it's just like, okay, that's $40 times 4 times a week. That's $160 that I'm spending in 1 week. just to eat out, when I can use $160 probably in 2 months, 2 weeks of groceries to meal plan for my 2 weeks, because at that time I was bi-weekly. So I mean, and at that 160 plus times 4, what is that? That's $640 that I was probably spending on eating out alone for the month. So this will be the eye-opener, guys. When you do the dining out portion, yes, we need our medical subscriptions. It's a necessity because if you are staying home, not trying to spend money going out, entertaining and whatnot, of course you want those subscriptions to entertain yourself at home, and use those, you know, like Netflix Prime. Those are my 2 main ones that I have, and then I have my AMC Plus because I am a Walking Dead freak. And I've yet to get at HBO because as much as I love Game of Thrones, I have not been able to watch it this new season. So, but I do plan eventually to get back on so I can get on that. But anyways, we're going back to dining out. This will be the one that you will decide where you need to cut back your cost, and I'm telling you, it will help. Whereas this groceries, of course, is going to be the kicker, because what you spent here, you should have spent here in your groceries. I realized that my groceries list was a lot smaller than what I was spending on dining out, and that was ridiculous to me. I regretted all the times that I kept eating out so often. Not to say I don't do it still. I still do it. I do set money aside weekly for eating out, but that money is there, and I don't go beyond that money if I try not to. There's always the exceptions, right? So that will always, these two I put next to each other so you guys could really look at both what you spend in dining out versus what you spent in groceries, and you will be amazed at how much you realize what you could have saved from dining out and buying your groceries instead. Okay, so that's the thing. Fuel, of course, fuel is basic for me. I spend usually $40 a week because I do drive, you know, daily to my job, and it is about 10 minutes away. So that is the cost that really eats up my gas, and that's $40 a week is what I allot myself. But also, that also keeps me home, because I'm like, okay, I only have $40 for this week. Whatever I use of my gas, I have to make sure this starts making you really look at your numbers and really make you tackle the things that are important to you, the things that you want to be able to do and you can't do because you're like, I was always broke. I was spending my money eating out, and then I was going and hanging out with friends a lot. You know, during my divorce, I did go through, you know, an emotional roller coaster of, you know, if I was doing the right thing and, you know, divorcing, if I was doing, you know, right by my kids, and then also the emotional kind of relationship that I had. I'm not gonna say it, but and I did have an emotional relationship with that for about a year. And of course I snapped out of it, and I was very grateful that I did, because I mean, I did it, I experienced it, it was fun in the moments, but then you wake up and you snap out of it, right? And it wasn't so fun after that. So I was able to come out of that after my divorce and get myself back right with my kids, right in my spiritual setting, my spiritual being, my spiritual, you know, evolution of what I've pictured for my life. And my life is meant for me to be happy, and I can only do that for myself. And then eventually, you know, I was able to trickle it down to be so much more for my kids, now my grandbaby. And so that's just a whole nother story, guys. I'm going off topic. But yeah, guys, so fuel plays a factor in your budgeting, and it makes you stop and say, okay, that's my gas for this work week. I'm not going to go all the way to a specific spot, because once I use that $40, I'm not trying to go anywhere to use up my gas. I don't. And then of course we have the miscellaneous, and that could be anything that comes up that you're just, you know, it's the unknown that you really can put into this category. And eventually, if you know what it is and you know that you maybe need it or not, that's where you can decide from that point. And then of course 2 other blank spots that you can use for yourself for specific categories that you want to also incorporate. So that is for the bank statement side. Then when we do our bank statement, guys, and we figured out how much we want to start tackling, this is where our budgeting starts playing a part in this. We start getting our income and we start tackling every dollar and putting it in its place. Okay, I know I have all my bills that I need to pay, my prescriptions, my medical for that month, what I can cut out and what I can add in my dining out and groceries. And then we go into our budget sheet, guys. So this is a budget sheet spend tracker that I created, because we tend to write our budget out, debt, expenses, and then our summary, but we also can incorporate the spend or no spend. So I did it in 2 ways where you can use this as a spending tracker to incorporate into your budget sheet for that week, bi-weekly, monthly, however you work yourself or get paid. Or you can also do a no spend, and you're like, okay, today is August 18. I did not spend, so I'm gonna do a check off here. And then you can start using this as ways to save money too. So we do the no spends tracker, we do the no spend savings. You can also use this as a no spend savings. Maybe, use the little circles to give yourself a green light that you did not spend, Or, like I said, spend tracker. Okay, well, I spent money today. I went, and bought me, something at the store. And so I write what I spent, and then I write the amount. And of course, I can red flag that means that I spend money, right, for that day. And so that's just a way to do it, but also it's your income. We list out our income, what we have for that week, month, whatever, how often you get paid, and then you work your bills into that income. You start with your total, whatever you have coming up, and then you total it, and you take your income from your bills, and this is what carries over into your debt. So then you have your debt. And this, I could have, on my other one, I do have where you have your income, bills, subscriptions, debt, sinking funds, that if you want to do sinking funds, and then also your savings. But this one's more just basic. You can incorporate your bills, subscriptions, any medical that you want to include in here, and then you can put your debt as far as typically for me, my debt is my mortgage, my car payment, my credit cards. This is where I would put these. I don't put them so much into my monthly bills, because those are always going to be reoccurring. Even after we pay off our debt, we would still have to pay the bills, right? So I incorporate my debt here, do the same thing, total it out. Expenses, that is what you're going to put in your wallet, your groceries for that week or that month, your gas, your dining out, the money that you want to be able to use to eat out, and then also your shopping, if you pets, buy your treats for your pets, or fun in going out, things that you want to keep in your wallet as your cash expense. Okay, so that is where you put that. And then I did a summary where you put your income, your bills, your debt, expenses, your expenses. After your expenses, what you have carried over here, and I did not put a base for that, but this is what you carry over from all of these down to your expenses is what's going to go into your savings. Okay, that is where you get to play the fun savings games that we do, and that is what you would use. So I have my income, I have my bills, my debt, my expenses, and then from expenses I should have my savings amount here. That savings amount, so if it's 1,000, 500, 400, so that's 900. Okay, maybe so 1,500. 500 for bills, 400 for, let's say 500, 500. 1,500 is what I did, so that's 500, 500, 1,000. Expenses, we'll say 150, or no, let's say 300. So 1,000, and then 500, 500, 1,000, 300 is 1,300, and that means $200 goes into my savings. And then if I had any kind of spending, I would put it as well, just to track it. This is more just to track it. It's not so much to incorporate into your summary of your income, and then you should always end up at a zero balance, because your savings should be your actual zero. That should give you your zero, and that is where you can put your money towards your savings challenges that you have, that you're working on. And so from there, once you do that, you need your wallet money, right? So you go to your expenses, and then you go into your cash teller. So you have your groceries. Your cash teller gives you the bill increments that you're going to set. So if you have your groceries, dining, fuel, shopping, pets, entertainment, whatever you're gonna allot yourself in your cash wallet, you set the amounts that you need, however many hundreds you need, however many 50s, 20s, 10s, 5s to 1 and change, and you total it out from that 200. So we're carrying over the, well, 200 plus the, how much, 300 plus, so that would be $500 that I'm pulling out, because it's 300. Should I just give you the rundown, guys? Let me go ahead back. Let's backtrack that. So we say we have $1,000 in income. Okay, I should just write it out, right? You got your paycheck of it. Well, no, I said 1,500. I'm horrible at this, guys. 1,500. I was going fast. And then we have our bills. We'll put 500 for bills. Okay, for that check. So 1,500 carry over. We have 500 in bills. 1,500 from 500, it gives you 1,000. Okay, so then we come from here, 1,000, and we now move debt. So 500 for debt, and that could be your credit cards. You list them out. I'm just doing as an example. 500 for your debt. So 500 minus 1,000 is 500. Is what we're left over for expenses. So expenses, we say groceries, gas, all those things we're going to use for that week, or that however often you get paid, and I'm going to put a 300 towards that. So 500 from 300 gives you 200. So when you do your summary, you have 15, you have 500 in bills, 500 in debt, 300 in expenses, and then savings is what you're going to total up with, 200. And if you didn't spend, then that's, I mean, if you didn't, no spend, then you're good. If you spent, then you can also incorporate that here, but also 1,500 from 500 is 1,000, 500 minus 500 is 500, 500 plus minus 3 is 200, 200 minus 200, because we're putting it all to savings, gives me a balance of $200. Okay, so we have expenses of 300 that we need to pull in from the bank, and 200 we pull again from the bank for my wallet and my bank, or my savings. So we have $300 for wallet, And then we have 200 for savings. So this is how much you would go and pull from the bank. $500, right? So say I need 150 and another 100 for groceries, so that's already 150. And then we have so that's 50. So we'll do 250s to make it easier. So that's 100, 200, and then we're gonna do 4 20s. That's 280, and then 220. 2 10s gives us $300. So that's how much I would go to the bank with, tell them this is how much I needed these. For my savings though, savings will typically always be your lowest money, your $1 bills, your 2s, your 5s, your 10s, and if you want to go into the higher numbers, then you will. But to begin, your $200 is going to be typically your 10s, 5s, 2s, and 1s, and maybe a 20. And that is where you can play those dollar challenges. Okay, so you have your dollar challenge, and this is where savings, so you know you have $200. So for here, we're going to put that we have a $200 set amount of savings. Okay, this is a savings in play. So this is where I'm going to plan out my savings. Now I have tons of savings that I'm playing with, but for the beginning, we're going to just go ahead and play it out with maybe 5 challenge savings. So we have a dollar challenge, and typically for that you probably want to bring at least $20 in your challenge. Let's say we have a game challenge, and that game challenge is probably like baseball. You know, I have my baseball savings out there. You play each inning. Typically it's a roll the dice inning game. 3 strikes, you're out. After three outs, game over for that inning. And say you put another $40. That one can typically go high. No, not that high. Maybe it'd go probably at least $20 to $30, depending on the innings that you play. So we'll put $40. So right there, that is already $60 from our 200. And then say we have a $5 challenge, and you're playing only $5 towards those challenges, and you have maybe 5 that you want to play. 5, 10, 15, 20, $25 right there. So that's $60, $70, $85 that we're already spent in our savings. And then maybe you have, I mean, these are basic savings. You know, we can go into it of all the different savings that I have. I mean, let's say, for instance, let's go ahead and pull one of these. So we have this Donna's Saving 101 challenge. So these typically are mostly all filled. And maybe you start off with something like this, you know, and so each of these savings gives you a total of how much you're going to save. So it's $30. So let's say Saving 101. Save 101. And you know that you're going to try to tackle $30, but you're going to only play only $10, $12. Okay, so $12 there. Okay, then you have your next challenge for that, and that is a $50 savings, but you also have number 2, and you're going to put another $10 there. Okay, and then you go to the next one, and that's 105 savings, but you're going to put $20 there. Okay, so right there, let's see how much that is. 20, 30, 42, 62, 67, 107, $127. So that's $127 that we've spent so far. Okay, so 127. So that means from 200 to 127 gives me what is it? $78 left. So then you can go to another game and you can say, okay, well then now we're gonna go to number 4, and I'm gonna put $40 toward that one. Okay, so that means I have $38 left. And then you go to your last one and say you want to go ahead and put all $38 there for the number 5 savings book. And that is how you basically work your savings challenges. You don't have to do that many, but it depends on you. It depends on how much you want to save, right? And how fun these become, because these do become so much fun, so addictive. You just don't want to stop saving at that point. So all of this money from here to here should save up to $200. That is where my $0 comes in play for zero-based budgeting that we did. So let me put this back. See, and this is a current savings I'm doing for my sinking funds for the hop. So every time we do that, then I pull that money out for a specific thing. These are completed, so that just lets me know I've done these. Okay. Oh, I didn't grab it right. But yeah, guys, so that's for savings challenges. The savings tracker that is included with this. Now, say you've already completed all your saving, or not so much complete them. This is a weekly savings. So every week I write down, during the week I write down each challenge that I do, and I save that amount. So we'll put, so for this challenge for this week I did $200 worth of savings. So I put $200 for week, and basically I wouldn't do 200. I would actually break these out into each time, like the days that I play these. So if I do these daily, then those are the games I will play daily. So daily would be 20 for that week. $1, $20. Next one is a game, and that one was $40. And then the next one was a $5 challenge, and I did $25 for that one. Okay, and then the next one would be save 101, and that was $12. And number 2, 10. Number 3, I did 20. Number 4, I did 40. And then number 5, I did 38. So all of these would go then, and if I do more games or within that week, if I do more challenges within that week, I continue to track them. Typically I try to do 2 weeks on this weekly savings, and then at the end I total it out to be able to carry it over into my monthly savings. So at the end of the month for those weekly savings, I total out how much I saved for each of those weeks, and then I carry it over for the month here. And that is how I'm tracking how much I've saved throughout the year. Okay, so that's a good way to do it. Now once you've completed your savings, I also have a completed savings, savings to sync. So you date completed, savings name, and then the amount. So I like to write out everything that I've saved that's going to go into the sinking fund, just so I can give myself a total amount of how much I'm going to actually be sinking that day. And that's usually what I use for my sinking, my sink showdowns. What is it? Sinking fund showdown. Yeah, video that I typically do. So here it'll come at the end of this month. I'll be doing that. But then that is where I know how much money I'm going to be able to sink and create my sinking funds, guys. So you have your sinking funds, you have your goal, you have for the month, all through the year. So from January all the way to December, you give yourself a date, a total, running total of how much you completed it, and if how much you ended up putting into your high yield savings account. And that's how I'm going to treat these. But this is and so that's how that works for the sinking funds part. So we have our monthly savings, and then we also have how to do our debt down confession. Okay, so you write out your debt. This I use as a graph, so I typically am going to categorize this depending. You can use this as like, hey, this is going to be $100. Every row or column is $100. Okay, and you can either do it this way, your graph of how much you start. Okay, I'm at $100 here, and I'm going on the low because you know it's into the thousands, right? So say maybe if you want to do it at 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000, 60,000, 70,000, depending on what you owe on debt. And then you start coloring as you tackle all those debts, right? So say house payment is your main debt, right? And say you owe 100,000, 100K. Well, for every one of these columns, I'm going to do a $10,000. Okay, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. Okay, and so from this one, okay, so far I say I've paid 10,000, I paid 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000, 60,000, and 70,000. So I paid all 70,000. Well, I'm gonna roll into this next one, and I say I have 30,000 left. So say 70, and I only paid 5,000 here. So I'm gonna go 5,000 here. That means I have 5,000 here, and so another 25,000 left to pay off my debt. And so that's just a way you can track this on your debt. Okay, and you set goals for yourself. If you wanted to just make it all just one, and each category of your debt, so this is going to be specifically for your house, and maybe you want to do it in a smaller increments and not make it 10,000. Maybe you want to make it into 1,000, and you climb up the ladder, you know, depending on how you want to work this. If you want to go this way, go up and down, vertical instead of horizontal like I did, I just am following it along going this way. And that's just an idea. It's not this you make it how you want it. And then maybe you print out another one of these and you make it for your car payment or your credit cards, and you have multiple one of these to start tracking down. And then maybe you figure out, okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we have 12 times 7, which is what? 84. Okay, so we have 84 squares. If we did 100K, 100,000 divided by 84, that would be 1, 4. So let me get my calculator instead of doing all that. So if we have 84 squares, so 100,000 divided by 84, that means each square has to use a total of 1190. We'll say 1191, we'll round it up. 1191 for each square. Every time you hit 1191, you color it in, and by the time you complete this, you should have $100,000 to completely color this thing out. It depends on how you want to set it. I left it blank for a reason. I didn't want, you know, you guys could come up with your own category strategy of how to make this. You can do, okay, house payment 1, 2, 3, 4. You can determine how many times you'll have to pay it, which here it would give you 84 payments that you can make of $11.91 to pay off your debt. 100K. Is that right, guys? Is that right? So 1191 times 84. Yeah, it's 100,000. So to me that sounds freaking amazing to be able to do that. I mean, especially if your payment is probably like, say it's $700, which I wish, you know, I know a majority of us, that payment is non-existent. But to say it's 100,000, you could pay it off in 84 payments if you paid $11.91. Could you imagine? So guys, that is awesome to me, and that I'm going to use this for sure. Now that I've put this into perspective, now that I've spoke it out, okay, now I'm seeing the big picture on this one. Because at first I didn't know how I was going to tackle it, but now talking with you guys, it really has opened what I want to do to finish tackling the debt I have. And that is awesome. So hey, it helps, guys. Let's figure this out, okay? You guys, this is available again on my Etsy if you guys want to go and grab this. It does come with, it is not double-sided, so you will print on separate sheets, so you'll get 12 pages of this printout, and I just laminated them together, or you can even print them on back of each other, one, you know, turn your page over, print it on the other side. But I just laminated the pages together to make it double-sided, and then that's how I'm going to use this to tackle my budget, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope it inspires you guys. I hope it gets you going. I will say the colors are amazing on this when you print it out, especially if you have an inkjet printer. It really is bold, vibrant, and I hope it helps you guys start tackling your debt and also just budgeting yourself. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and shove off. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that thumbs up. Let's go ahead and use that hashtag starter kit. That lets me know you guys watched all the way up to this point. And I hope you guys enjoy your rest of your Sunday, but also the budgeting journey for yourself. Much love, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.